Hey y'all, what's up? This is Liz with a little bit of reality in just a minute or longer. Now, if you have not heard this story out of Florida, it is completely nuts. Now, I want to start by saying I am a Floridian. I am born and raised in the county of Dade. And I know like years ago, we used to have a issue with carjackings in the state, especially in Miami. Like, it was awful. Like, you could not sit at the light for a long time. A lot of people would just run it. And like in Miami, if the light is long, a lot of people call those lights jack lights because you're sitting there forever and somebody can run up on you, right? This particular story is about a 31-year-old out of Homestead, Florida. Her name was Carjacked. Now, she's from Homestead, Florida, which is in southwest Miami-Dade, but this particular incident took place in Winter Springs, Florida, which is Seminole County. Now, what appears to have happened is that she called her husband and told her husband that a green car rammed her truck. Now, I'm not sure why neither of them thought to call the police, but from what the husband has told, I guess, investigators, is that she told him someone rammed her truck, and from there he just told her to keep driving and don't stop, and everything else from there is completely awful, and it went completely downhill. Again, I'm not sure why she didn't call the police herself, or even the people that were around when this happened did not call the police. Or if they did, they have not played any 911 calls. So we haven't heard any 911 calls here. But this particular story is completely awful. Now, I do want to add that this took place in broad daylight. And it was recorded. So there was a person behind their cars recording it. And what they're saying and what you can see from the video is the guy get out of the green Acura, go up to her truck, aims a weapon at her. I'm not sure what type of conversation was had, but he opened the door and got into the backseat passenger area, right? And then they drove off, and then the green Acura drove off behind them. Now, I'm not sure why no one snuck and followed them. Like, it again, this happened in broad daylight, and I don't know if personally if I wouldn't have drove off, because I would have probably had to be DOA like at the scene, because I would have probably hit the gas, just started blowing the horn and act crazy. But then again, you don't know what you would do in a situation like this, because you may go into shock and not even know how to react. But again, this happened in broad daylight with multiple cars around. If you guys go watch the video, there were cars passing across the front, there were cars turning in front, and there were cars pulling up next to. Nobody blew a horn, but then you probably don't want to blow a horn because you probably don't want the person to start pewing at you. So this whole situation is just crazy, and I don't even know if it was preventable, but it do seem very suspicious. Okay, now 2 hours after that incident at the light, where she was carjacked and kidnapped, in this particular area here, apparently her truck was there on fire, and there was a body inside of the truck. And the police are saying that they found 12 shell casings in that same area. Now, we're talking about going from a car ramming to a carjacking and kidnapping to the car being burned and shots being fired. Like, for some reason, to me, why do I feel like they knew her? Why do I feel like this was a setup? They say her husband is cooperating with the police, but why do I feel like this was not a random act and these people knew Catherine? Knew Catherine would be in Winter Springs because she's not even from the area. She lives in Homestead, Florida. That's like maybe a 4 to 5 hour drive and difference. But do it only seem suspicious to me, or do it seem suspicious to you guys as well, the way this went down? Like, it just seems very odd. Now, they have not identified her completely, but they're saying 9 times out of 10 she is the victim that was found in that burned vehicle. And again, this just seems so crazy. Like, I feel like are we all not safe at the light? Even though we're all really not, but it's like now we have to be more. It's like now you have to keep an eye out for everything. And it's like, what do you do in a situation like that? Me, I'm just going to drive off. I'm ramming everything. We gonna all be in a car accident. But again, if you're in shock, you don't know what you would do in those moments. I really hope her husband is not involved. Like, that would be so awful. But what do you guys think about this? Leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to hit the follow button. Toodles.